Alrighty then, today we're going to get turkey stock going, and I'm also going to can the dark meat from the turkey. We got a fresh turkey. It was 20 pounds, and we're just 2 people. But that just tells you we're little oinkers, and we like us some turkey. So I'm not going to let any of it go to waste. My husband got the carcass all picked clean, and that boy can pick a chicken or a turkey like nothing you've ever seen. So I also have a chicken carcass. So these, and I keep some things frozen for stock, onion, celery, some carrot ends. I think I'm going to have to add some fresh carrots. But anywho, it ain't hard, but we're going to can up some chicken stock and some of our dark meat, already cooked chicken. We like to take that, and a pint jar is enough for the 2 of us, but I'll end up probably doing quarts and actually make a cream sauce with that, drain off and save the broth in the refrigerator, and then put it over toast in that cream sauce. Great wintry warm meal. So it ain't hard, it's just canning, making broth, and we're going to get her started. It ain't too pretty right now, but it will be. I'm also adding almost a quart jar, which is what we slowly on the stove while the turkey was cooking had the neck, the gizzards, the livers, the heart, the little bag that comes inside a turkey if you buy it at the store, as opposed to harvesting it in your backyard or your husband or your wife going hunting. So anywho, I'll add that. Looks kind of gross, but of course it's just broth. It's a good thing. Major flavor. So all I do, I dumped in that broth, that almost quart jar. Now I'm going to dump in some of my frozen vegetables. And remember that your onion peels, these really give your broth that beautiful color. And this ain't fixing to be no canned soup company broth. We're chemical free here, and we are not dumping in a buttload of salt. And these are the leaves of a bunch of celery. I like to use that also when I make spaghetti. So we're just going to dump it in here, get my carcass in, and my other chicken breast, and then I'll show you what the pot looks like. Ooh, I know the excitement. You can't wait to see it. Ooh. This is the carcass of a 7-pound hen that when my husband picks it clean for me, he crushes it down. I call his hand the claw. And then I can't say, oh, I don't have enough room to freeze some bones for stock. So you can smush a chicken carcass down. So here's our pot, and the only thing in the bottom is that little quart of, we'll call it neck stock. I am not going to add a whole lot of water to this. I want this to be rich, flavor-infused broth. So I'm going to start with that much water. See what happens. I'm going to be keeping an eye on it because I'm going to start canning my dark meat chicken after I cut a bunch of it off the bone. 2 things at once. Woo! So as I am pulling the dark meat off the bones, anything I have left, these bones, these I'm going to drop right into my stock pot over there, so that they're just going to simmer for hours in there. But I'll get as much meat off as I can. I'm not quite the picking master that my husband is, but I'm going to give it a go. Alrighty then, so I got my bits and bobs from picking off the dark meat. And the meat in little pieces I did not like are in here, as well as that backbone, the leg bones. So this is too compact, so I need to add some more water. I do not want this drowning. So I've got it at a boil now. See, that's still a little too compact. It's not hard to remedy. I can add more, it's just hard to take away too much. I'm not worried about covering that turkey carcass because it's going to break down. Yeah, now we got some, so I want to make sure I got my bones down in here. All right. I use a good holy spoon, I can push it. So now I put the cover on it, and I'm going to let this simmer all day long. And then every once in a while I'll check it just to make sure it's not too dry. Just canning chicken broth, really, turkey. Chicken carcass and a big turkey carcass. And this is how much of the dark meat I got off this big bowl to be able to can. Yay! Turkey! So I have 2 quart jars of my leftover dark meat. I'm still going to pokey Joe. Still going to do the same things like you do anything. And what I did, if I can find it, here it is. I took some of the broth that I'm making and I strained it through a cheesecloth. So I'm going to add broth to this instead of hot water. But you can certainly add boiling hot water. So I'm going to pokey Joe, get all the air out, and I need 1 inch of headspace. So these are going to process at 90 minutes at 10 pounds of pressure for my area. Of course, check your own, and get your headspace correct. You do not want no part of no botulism. So take it serious. Make sure your kitchen's very clean. It is all about the turkey sandwich to us. White bread, a little bit of mayonnaise, my husband's moist turkey, and then I get a little dressing hot with some gravy. I spread that on the top, and then it must have either cranberries or jellied cranberry sauce. My father says he invented this sandwich, but this is why we love to make a big turkey. The sandwich. Yummy! Now this is something I have to do because I'll have about 3 or 4 things going on. In this case, I have 2 quarts of turkey in my canner, but I've also got carrots that are waiting to go in next. So I write down what is in my canner. So I've got turkey quarts. I put them in at 125 and they need to go for 90 minutes because one of my fears is, oh, I'm going to time it for pints, or actually forget what's in there and think, oh, I have carrots or broth in there, and do the wrong time. And of course, I'm not going to know that till the canner cools down and I open it and go, oops. So I write it down just to have a backup, because I do not want to waste my time, or worse, not process it long enough. So I just have myself a little backup. Can't hurt. Now let's look at the turkey stock, and that carcass, this is what was sticking up from it, is completely broken down. And of course, all this will get strained through a cheesecloth. There is still not a whole lot of water in here, just to the edge of the spoon, sitting on the side. But I do, about every 30 minutes, stir it, push things down into that liquid. This is going to be righteous. Because remember, we've got a chicken carcass and a turkey carcass in here. And I'm waiting for my turkey meat, 2 quarts, to simmer down so I can take them out. And then I'll put my carrots in there. I love a carrot. This is a timer. It's a mouse. Get it? It's a little mouse. And for others with a Presto canner, or a canner with, I call that a petcock or a duflachi, it has to come up before I begin to time my 10 minutes. When this is not on there, don't be tempted just because your pressure, my pressure in this case, has dropped to 0, until this drops down. I don't pull off my 10-pound weight. So don't just go by the pressure on your canner. I need this to drop before it's safe to open. I spent 90 minutes pressure canning these 2 quarts of turkey, and I certainly don't at this point, being impatient, want to whip this off, let steam come out, and perhaps cause some serious siphoning, or worse, jeopardize the seal on my turkey. And everything I just did was for naught. So just be patient. Even though I have carrots ready to go, I'm going to hang in here and wait till that drops down, and I still wait 5 minutes before removing this and then taking the top off the pressure canner to take out my 2 quarts of turkey. So don't be in no hurry. This is not the time to get impatient. This is a scientific thing, and you've got to do it right. If you can't do it right, don't do it. It ain't hard unless you mess it up. Simmer down. Simmer down. So my little petcock dooflotchie came down. I'm going to take off my 10-pound weight. There was no hiss. And this sucker be hot. Hot. So set it on. See, I hurt my finger. So I'm going to set it on a spoon rest. And I'm still going to wait 5 minutes before I take the lid off this canner. Calm down. Everything comes, it's going to happen. Right now I'm going to have a cup of coffee and I'm going to come back and address it. Ain't going to hurt nothing sitting there. Ain't going to hurt nothing. So here are the 2 quarts out of the canner. And look at it. Still bubbling and processing away. I love canning. You're like a mad food scientist. I mean, can you dig it? That is some beautiful stuff. This is a monster. Look at this stuff. Carcass completely broken down. This is some wickedly beautiful stock. I am totally digging it. This thing here is an animal. Sorry, it has steaming. So I've turned it off now because it is broke down. So I'm going to let this cool, then strain through some double cheesecloth. But this is something. God, it's so heavy. Yay! A chicken and turkey carcass broke down like a clown. Fogging you up again. Alrighty then, check out the richness of this broth. And yes, it is only 3 quarts of broth, but it is the only word I have is righteousness. So into the pressure can it's going. Holy schmoly, this is something awesome. So here are my 3 quarts of the broth, and oh my gosh, they are nothing but straight up righteousness. I am totally, totally digging it. So I got my 2 little pints, or as my niece calls them, pints of carrots done. 3 quarts of the most righteous turkey and chicken carcass stock I have ever made. And then my 2 quarts of the turkey. Gots to love canning. I think that storing food is the most difficult thing to do when you're a prepper. How to store food, what kind of food to store. So here's an example. September 23rd of 2012, I canned some chicken soup. It's got carrots, potatoes, green bean, peas, corn, tomatoes, and of course chicken in there. So today I canned dark meat turkey, and I canned some carrots. I can turn this into turkey soup. I can add carrots. I, of course, have a stockpile of green beans we grew ourselves, peas that I purchased in a can. So in this case, instead of doing several quarts of turkey, with a lot of different things in it to turn it into soup. I simply canned the turkey, and then I made that really rich, thick broth. And so when I look at food storage, I can look at this turkey. If I wanted to turn this into a meal for my husband and I could make cream turkey on toast with a cream sauce. I could get 2 to 3 full turkey soups out of this, adding some carrots, or I could use my dehydrated carrots. I would certainly add some dehydrated potatoes to it. I have dehydrated tomatoes, potatoes, you name it, and it's there. I could also, with a lot of the pastas that I have in Mylar bags, turn this into a pasta dish. So you don't have to set up already prepared meals where I would still add a quart of chicken stock to this that I have canned, or 2 pints. But I go for the versatility. So sometimes I'll go for the full soup in canning. Other times I'll can the meat. But I do look at it from the point of view, what could I do with this? Pastas. I could turn it into turkey salad. I grow a lot of lettuce in the summer. I could turn it into turkey soup, cream chicken on toast. There's a lot of things to be able to do for it. The important thing about it to us is it's full of protein. And again, to turn it into soup, I'd still need to add some of my canned turkey broth. So I think food storage can be very, very difficult when you're trying to put food back. But it's also why the jar lids are so important to me, and why I'm moving to the Orchard Road canning lids. This, for example, I've stored since 2012. I may store food for 5 years before I use it. Sometimes it's 6 months. For example, here's just in May of this year, carrots, because I was down to only 2 pints of carrots that we had grown last year. So I need lids that last and that I can count on. Of course, I use good jars, but I'll be switching over to Orchard Road canning because there is no guarantee how long the things will sit in my food pantry. So food storage is, to me, one of the most important things that we do as preppers. It's epically important, but look at things from the point of view of a meal. How many meals could I make out of this? And of those meals that I mentioned, for example, on pasta, do I have pasta stored? Do I have enough rice? Do I have enough carrots? Do I have enough dehydrated? If I wanted to add potatoes, are that dehydrated or canned? So look at it from the point of view, if you had to do it and go, okay, this could make a meal. And look at it from those areas. For example, I can make my own bread. I can now, thanks to Pecan Corner, make a good pie crust to turn this into turkey pot pie. So there are a lot of flexibility with it. Don't become overwhelmed with your food storage and things that you're going to do. I've said it before, but I started out accumulating pasta with coupons, buy one, get one free sales, and then a lot of the ragouts and Pregos. So I thought, okay, there's a spaghetti meal. It's meatless, but I had to start somewhere. And of course, buying a lot of rice, a lot of camellia red beans, a lot of pinto beans, slowly through each week's grocery budget. Now I may go to the grocery once a month. So just take it one step at a time. Don't let it become overwhelming. I think it's easier if you can, but you have to accumulate jars. You have to purchase lids. So it does take a hot minute, and I don't want to be buying produce at a farmer's market. Produce is expensive in a grocery store. I want to be able to grow my own and simply supplement with what I can get from a grocery. But I look at it from the point of view, how long is a grocery going to be there? How long are trucks going to be bringing these items in? So just take it one step at a time. I did food storage, a little knuckle dragon. I operated on the keep it simple, silly premise. Can it if you can.